Betska, Raj, I am so excited today about talk about this topic of employee engagement. And I know, Betska, you have a lot to say to that topic. And, it's from my perspective, it's such an important topic because so often we look at clients, we look at shareholders, we look at the leadership team, and we forget that the employees are the ones that are doing the job and they are engaged, and it's really every touch point of it. And so having the employment and the employees engaged and really embedded and incorporated into the solutions of an organization can not only solve, but I believe also prohibit a lot of the challenges that we're experiencing in the corporate world. So I'm excited that you will be talking about that today and we'll be discussing. And so with that, please let us know what you'd like to get started with.
Thank you. Well, I've got a bunch of slides prepared here today, Marion, and I think you're absolutely right. Employee engagement can solve a myriad of our challenges in corporations and governments. So let me pop up my slides here and I'll begin. Here we go. So introducing employee engagement, let's bring out the bugles here.
It's a very hot topic always and important.
Yeah.
Solving our corporate challenges with ease. And I'm very excited what I've prepared here for everyone here today. And when I say employee engagement, I mean engagement all the way from the top and including boards of directors, CEOs, presidents, directors, anybody at that top level, all the way down to the lower levels. So I just want to briefly introduce ourselves. There's me on the screen. I'm an industry pioneer of innovative coaching practices. I've developed over 80 award-winning tools for employee engagement and for solving everyone's challenges, whatever those challenges are, and to achieve their goals. I'm a Canadian best-selling author of many books, and I'm a former international head of accreditation for the International Association of Professional Coaching and Mentoring. I help develop their core competencies and their examination process for credentialing. And John Burr is also co-president here at CLI, and we are married. We've been married for 32 years, and I am so lucky to be blessed to be married to this wonderful man. He's also co-developer of the tools. He's had top sales honors in his previous businesses. He co-authored Build a Booming Business, and he's been very active in the International Coaching Federation as president, past president, board member, etc. So we are the two that head up our company here. And I wanted to share a little bit of the view of where we live, because we live on Vancouver Island, and this is actually the bay in Cortes Island, which is where we went for our holiday about a month ago. It's so beautiful there, very peaceful. And here's my husband, John, kayaking. We love to kayak on the peaceful waters around Vancouver Island. And this is Betska with our daughter, Tanya. This is her quite much younger, but we're very proud of our daughter. She has done very well for herself. And I wanted to bring our pets in. We don't have a pet right now. Both of them have passed. We'll be getting a new one soon. But the pets have played such a major role, not only in our family life, but in our professional life. In fact, all these methodologies that I've developed for coaching and leadership, the animals would sit right beside me. And if I got stuck with something, I could just feel them helping me out energetically. Their sweetness, their love, when you live in a loving environment, you just pick up on their vibes. So we just love animals. So that's us. Just wanted to introduce where we live.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And I want to talk about CLI's mission that we research, develop, and license masterful methods that achieve genius thinking, just like this Einstein guy, right? To advance enlightened leadership worldwide. So our focus is on enlightened leadership, raising the frequency, raising the knowledge, raising the IQ and EQ and SQ and NQ of leaders at all levels of the organization. We've been many times honored. I don't want to even name all these, but there are many, many awards that we've won. The latest one was for 2 years running. I was named top 100 management consultants in the world by CEO Today magazine. So 2 years running. I thought that was pretty amazing that I would receive that award. And they gave it because of the research that I have done. So I want to talk about that research here today. So why do we need enlightened leadership is the question, right? Well, I want to share several slides here that really make the case on why we need enlightened leadership. So for example, we have planetary challenges. You know, the Earth's air conditioner, the Arctic summer sea ice is melting and is soon to be gone. We have greenhouse gas emissions that are way over the top: CO2, methane, nitrous oxide. 300,000 plus people are killed every year by climate change. Just this summer alone here in our province, we had 800 deaths from the heat spells that we had, because we don't have that kind of heat here, you know. Our oceans are suffering. 99% of blue whales are gone. 70% of the fish are gone. At least 16,000 children die every day from starvation. We should not have that. No child should have to die because they don't have food, you know. And food security is an issue, you know, where more and more because of the forest fires, because of water supplies. You look at California, they're running out of water. So is India. You know, the aquifers in Delhi and Mumbai are drying up. And why is that happening in Delhi and Mumbai? Because the Himalayan mountains don't have as many glaciers anymore, and that's the water source, right?
Mm-hmm.
So glaciers are retreating and wildfires are running rampant. So we have many planetary challenges. We also have corporate and family emergencies. Let's take a look at some of these. In the USA in 2020, a record number of class action cases as employees sued on disputes over workplace safety, how they're paid while working from home, and family and medical care. A lot of lawsuits, and they are increasing. And I've seen the numbers rise over the years with this. And this is a corporate emergency, right? When we have that many class action suits. And in Canada and other countries, we may not as easily sue our employees or employers, but we sue inside. Instead of taking our leaders to court, we shut down our productivity. That's our way of getting back. You know what I mean? And many Canadian government employees are on antidepressants. This is shocking to me. I coach a lot of leaders around the world, but in Canada, many. And they tell me that the number of employees on antidepressants is shocking. So when you are on antidepressants, you can't think as clearly as we would want those employees. So I say, who's running our governments? Who is running our corporations if we have so many people on antidepressants? Antidepressants control the mind. So when I work with leaders, eventually their doctors will take them off the antidepressants or lessen them because it's too harmful. It's too controlling of the mind. Can you see how this is a corporate emergency? It's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. And you know, it brings awareness to some really key points, because you know, and you said that the suing inside, right? We don't see that. We experience that, but we don't see that. It's often not communicated, and we wonder why the team members, the employees aren't getting along, why they're disengaged, why they're checked out, and their productivity shows in the organization in every level, down to the results. Yeah, absolutely.
It's, yeah, I really like what you said there, Marion, that we can't see it. So that's where I know your work comes in very handy, because you go and you measure it. You help people see what's really going on underneath, right? Let's take a look at what's happening on the family side. In Canada, 26% of children 2 to 17 are currently overweight or obese. And it's also a global epidemic. I know in your country, Marion, it's pretty severe. I know in India, Raj,
It's
diabetes
also
is
in
massive.
in my
Yeah,
country also young generation are is very they like junk food so
yeah.
much uh,
Sugar.
stuff frozen foods. It's not good
Mm-hmm.
for health.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
the school children, the young people, they are also suffering this obesity problem.
And I know India leads the world in terms of diabetics, right? And I was shocked when I traveled all those times to India where they have the little stalls just on the sidewalk and people just buy desserts, like they were encouraging the sugar fix. So, um, we have, this is just an example. What are the epidemics in your country? I ask anyone who's observing this presentation today, what are the epidemics in your country? Let's take a look at that. The next point here, in many countries, extreme poverty, hunger, and malnutrition, as well as street drugs, continue to challenge. I know in the pandemic, we've had in our province in Canada, we've had many people die from overdoses, drug overdoses. So what are our countries doing about this? Just because they're street people, do we not look after them or do we embrace them? Like I love India because there, I was just so touched by how the Indian people look after the street dogs. The dogs are hungry, they don't have homes, but the Indian people feed those street dogs. The Indian people have such an amazing love for humans and animals. And I think we should spread that around the world, spread that love around the world. And last point, and I could go on about corporate and family emergencies, but in most progressive countries, rates of heart disease and cancer are increasing. Why? It's due to acidic and fat-centered diets, too much meat, too many processed foods, as Raj was saying, too much sugars, too much dairy, and so on. So we are not paying attention to our diet. So yes, we definitely have a corporate and family emergency, and these can be solved. I want to move now to talk about CEOs and why every CEO needs a coach. These numbers are from August 13th, 2012. But I can tell you that these numbers are very similar in my estimation with all the research that we do when we are working with coaching and training in organizations. Look at these numbers. 30% of Fortune 500 CEOs have lasted less than 3 years. Top executive failure rates as high as 75% and rarely less than 30%. This is an epidemic. Next highlight, 2 out of 5 new CEOs fail in their first 18 months. This is from Harvard Business Review. Major reasons for failure, hubris, so too much pride, too much ego, and a leadership style out of touch with modern times and a lack of emotional intelligence. You see, we tend to put these leaders up into those higher positions and we don't train them properly. We don't give them the skills to be both task-oriented leaders and people-oriented leaders. They need to have the people-oriented. Many of them are aggressive, they can get things done, do the action. But how about being able to engage your people? We're going to be talking more about that today.
Right, absolutely. I have seen my couple of clients, they are from outside country. So I have seen 2, 3 senior level people also fail because they are driving in own style. If, for example, if I'm going Cambodia and I'm running a Cambodian venture, so it's my duty. First, I will learn people and understand. Then, according to, I can create a policy. So then become a successful person. Other, if I am applying Indian policy to Cambodian people, I will not get good result.
Well, that's right. Exactly. So really getting to know the people that we're working with, right? Absolutely. And let's look at the very bottom stat. 82% of newly appointed leaders derail because they fail to build partnerships with subordinates and peers. So similar to what you're talking about, Raj, right? Really getting them, building that partnership with the employees and peers. call it overconfidence or ego, but powerful and successful leaders often distrust or feel they don't need advice from anyone.
And one more point I'm adding you. I have seen my experience. The one client from my very good client from Europe. The one person from when they started in the company in India 2011. So that gentleman was very intelligent and he understand geographical knowledge about around the world. So when he was taking that unit, companies very nice, going very professional, good way, profitable. And after 5 years, he gone different country. So the new person they appointed. So what I learned, he is not capable. So he is always appointing wrong people in India. And the
Oh,
wrong people, negative and toxic and corrupt people. So now
right.
whatever he have done hard work earlier 5 years, just wasted. Now the company is very downfall in India. Very
It's
downfall.
erased. Yeah. I've experienced that myself as an employee many, many years ago. We had a really good leader who could engage employees, and man, we took the business from 0 to 45 million in 4 years. In Canada, that's big,
You
right?
you
And
should.
but he left, and another guy came in, and he destroyed the company.
And you told me, both you told me a positive energy,
Yeah.
energy.
Mhm.
So, when I was talking that gentleman, I'm not getting right energy to work with this gentleman. And
Um.
he's always keeping the negative people because he's
Mm.
spreading negative energy. So he's catching only negative people. That is why the company is the downfall.
Mm.
And company is very good company, very good company.
Well, Raj, that's where Marion and I could come in and really help him out, right?
Yeah,
If he's open. Yeah.
it's, and it brings up another point here that how we go about promotions, how we go about identifying candidates based on skills, based on longevity within the company, or going that progression down the career path, right? Versus really bringing into the picture that emotional intelligence, that collaboration, that openness to really connect with people, to build partnerships across all the touch points and hierarchies of the organization, because I believe that is getting more and more important. And it's almost something that employees are expecting from an environment. And that is really where we're bringing out the best in them, in my experience. But right. That emotional intelligence, that is not necessarily on the list of things that is hired for in those currently as it stands. And it should be, in my opinion, have a much, much bigger impact, not impact, a much higher importance when we are hiring for those types of positions.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know.
Thank you.
I don't know, like some people, like senior people, I don't know why they don't understand if you are hiring a manager or any senior people. So like Betska, I learn and I understand you very well. You judge people very easily, negative. But Marion also, and I have seen so many people. So once if I'm working with you under for example, Marion is my boss, yeah, Betska is my, and I'm always giving wrong picture and lovey-dovey talks and like buttering. So you realize within an hour, I'm not the right person, and you will take immediately action against. You will fire me, either you will take because the company, otherwise company will lose reputation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because of wrong person.
Yeah. And that's where the hiring process is so important, right? That you have to be really intelligent about how you're interviewing, and to make sure that it is a good fit, both for the position, but most importantly also for the culture and the values that you're building within your organization. So you're hiring the right people that fit well within the organization and the teams.
Absolutely.
But sometimes I have one more thing learned. Like you need sometimes bold decision also, the fearless decision. Sometimes sometime Marion, you are working some company and you are completely dominating the system and you are generating good business, but again you are the backside doing wrong practice like corruption, like other things also. And as a like your boss is Betska and she realized all of a sudden you are doing wrong thing, and but unfortunately you are giving good business also. So the I have seen couple of bosses, they avoid the thing ki, oh, she's giving, yeah,
Yeah.
he's giving business, so let
Yeah.
it be. So
I've seen that too. Yeah.
it's required good leader without hesitation. Termination is very required for creating lead by good example. Nobody dare to
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
this wrong practice.
Well, at
So
the end of the day, you have to do the right thing
yes.
Yes.
for
Yes.
the organization and the people inside. And, you know, like one example that I've experienced was when I came into a position and there were individuals that didn't enjoy their roles, or they really weren't, their skill set wasn't with the role. It almost came as a relief to them to have them either reassigned or sometimes parting ways because there wasn't a fit.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when we are in leadership roles, it's not that we need to be everybody's friends. We need to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Betska, do you want to continue?
Yes. Yes, please. Yeah, I've got a lot of slides here. So, but thank you for all of your input here. We can see how important this is, right? Why CEOs need coaches so they can balance their their IQ and their EQ, and to really learn how to do that, to exhibit the characteristics and behaviors that engage people, right? This is what this presentation is really all about. So I want to share this with you because this is stunning information. This is an employee engagement rates by country, and I have the full report from 2014 to 2016 done by Gallup, and they have all pages and pages of all the different countries on employee engagement. So let's look at India. What percentage of Indian employees are engaged? 13%. Percent not engaged, 65%. Actively disengaged, 22%. So, and actively disengaged indicates they are unhappy and unproductive at work and liable to spread negativity to coworkers. So we have to pay attention specifically to actively disengaged, right? But also to the not engaged. So let's look at other countries. I just picked a few countries, right? Just for fun. Mongolia, look at them. Mongolia is an amazing country, very spiritual country. 34% are engaged, 57% not engaged, and only 9% actively disengaged. So while this is not good, at least it's better. You know, they only have 9% disengaged. Let's look at the US. At one time, the US and Canada were together, but somehow Canada has gone lower in the last few years, and I don't know why, but the US, 33% engaged. That's pretty good, right? Percent not engaged, though, 51. That's big. And actively disengaged, 16. Canada, 20, 66, 14. South Korea. And don't ask me for North Korea because it wasn't in the list. They wouldn't produce their numbers. But 7% in Korea are engaged. That's really low. 67 not engaged and 26% actively disengaged. So, and what's really interesting is that in 2019, the global average was 22%, and last year, because of COVID, we went down to 20%. So things are really, things are shaking up. Can you see how vital? What comments do you have on this slide? I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, this it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately, right? Because when you're looking at these numbers, what that means for an organization and the impact and the results an organization has that has employees that are so disengaged, that is, we all can imagine. But my thought that pops into my head is the different management and leadership styles within these countries that are culturally based, because when I lived and I worked and I studied within a lot of international cultures, and that was a focus of my work and my education. And one of the things that I remember from those times was that when we have cultures or countries that where the hierarchies are such that perhaps the employees don't have much of a say so, or they're taking more like order takers, they don't feel like they really have control, they don't have a say, they are not contributing, they do what their leaders tell them to do. And I wonder how much of that has an impact here in this number of employees that is disengaged, either, not engaged or actively disengaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'd have to study the whole report. The one that they produced for 2021 is quite interesting. I haven't gone through the whole report, but I put this up here because it hits us in the face. What are we doing as leaders? What are we doing? That pride and that ego that we just talked about needs to be corrected, right? We need to help those leaders have both IQ and EQ and really start to be compassionate and live proper ethical values. Yeah.
And if I can just maybe play the devil's advocate here, because I also believe that a lot of leaders, especially through the turmoil of the last 18 months, a lot of leaders are very lonely. They are, if that leadership role has ever been lonely, it probably is more lonely now than it has ever been, right? So how can we really truly enlighten leaders? How can we provide the support that they need, because they have the responsibility over so many people? And I just recently, last week, spoke to one executive of the company. Is a global company. They have 80,000 employees, and he was talking about how he just that pressure that is on them, to the point where his family seems to be falling apart, and so many different areas of pressure that come in, which again kind of lead to some of these numbers we're looking at here. So how can we provide that support as advisors, as coaches, as consultants, to help them be enlightened, be inspired?
And that's I've got some solutions here for your question, so thank you. I'd love to spend more time on this. For example, Raj, maybe a later time we can discuss another podcast, why you think only 13% of employees are engaged in India. Not today, but another time. I think it would be, what Marion, and maybe I can read that Gallup poll report, the one from last year, and really take a look at it, and then we can do another podcast, because it's so important. It really, truly is. All right. So how do all of these global family and corporate challenges make you feel when you see these? I presented a family emergency, corporate emergency, global emergency. Like, how do these make you feel? The two of you, how does it make you feel when I present all that?
It's a lot. I believe that a lot of us are getting very overwhelmed with the sheer number of challenges we're facing, the energies that are in the air, and the situations that we can no longer avoid. And I believe that oftentimes with the human mind, at some point, and different people have different tolerance levels, at some point it overflows and we no longer know what we need to do with that. And I personally believe that is where a lot of the earlier slides information comes from, with being obese, being depressed, being anxious, being unhappy, and it stems from more, right, than the eye can see, and we might even ourselves are aware of what's going on. But as with everything, we have to start attacking these challenges one by one. And oftentimes they're interrelated, one with the other. So getting started is crucial.
Yes, thank you. Getting started. Raj, when you Raj, when you look at all of these challenges that I presented, what is going on in your heart? What are you feeling?
So, in my point of view, so much challenges there, and now before pandemic also, and after and the pandemic time also, family systems, company support system, boss problem, health issue, so many things. Like you are not like your team leader is not good, like the coordinator is the team worker is not good. What I have learned, what I learned from my side, the main problem is coordination and communication is very poor.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, I
If
agree.
you are going in family system also, if you are going in office system also, I have seen a lot of people, they thought you will understand automatically. This is not possible. Once you will not communicate, you remove your ego. A lot of people, they take so much ego,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people, they are not good in communication, coordination, not communication, coordination. They shy.
Mm-hmm.
That is the main problem in this point of view, communication and coordination.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Okay.
Can anybody out